What's up, guys? Welcome to Cineverm episode 10. This week
Yes.
we watched Alita Battle Angel,
Yep.
directed by Robert Rodriguez,
Yep.
and other credits that I don't know, but look it up on IMDb. This is the review. If you've already seen the film, you can check out our spoilers or just listen on, whatever you like. What did you think about Alita Battle Angel?
I really like this movie. I was kind of getting tired of watching more serious movies,
Oh, yeah.
and this movie just made it for me. It was about time movie.
It was a perfect cleanse, especially because this weekend you directed your first music video.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
I just imagine if I had directed something this weekend and then watched this would just been a awesome just breath of fresh air.
Oh,
Like,
for
let me
sure.
kind of turn off my, not turn off my brain, but let me turn off a little bit of logic and just feel
Yes.
this roller coaster ride of a film.
Yeah. I think that's why I would say I gave it a higher score than maybe if I wouldn't have directed my first piece, was because I did go through the motions of rehearsing and how long every single thing took. And I was frustrated at some points, and I could see how, I don't know, I just really like this movie. I have been in the back seat of the director, like in the director seat, and just things happen that you don't expect to happen, and some of them aren't even your fault. So it's like, damn, what can I really say?
Yeah, it gives you a different lens when you watch something, and just the level of appreciation, even if it's a scene you don't like, like they probably spent hours.
Hours. Yes, for sure it is a different perspective. At least for me, it made me appreciate this movie a lot more.
Yeah. And for me, from the get-go, I was kind of not looking forward to this movie as much because the trailer was so bad. And it's like every time I watch a trailer, I am what is the word? It is reinforcing the idea that most trailers are garbage. And they missell the movie that they're trying to sell to audiences.
Yep.
And for this movie, the trailer really turned me off. And then her eyes being all huge was a big turnoff. But within...
Wait, why was it a big turnoff in the first place?
Because it looked strange. And it looked like I was never going to get over the fact that her eyes were big. Like, this movie's fake. Like I was never going to just accept the world. But very quickly, within 15 minutes, I was just in. And I think it all has to do with how good the CGI is and how they really captured emotion through her eyes. And it makes a lot of sense because having huge, gigantic, bulby eyes gave her this very innocent nature to her. And having her emote through her eyes was very effective.
Yeah.
When she was sad, you could see it. When she was happy, you could see it.
Yep.
There's so many like cool scenes that...
And she actually blinked.
Oh, yeah.
And cried.
Her skin was very detailed.
Oh,
I don't think we really talked about that in the spoilers, but there was a couple scenes where her skin's wet. And it looks so
real.
Yeah, I was like, fuck.
It didn't, you know how some of them look like silicone because it's a lesser level of CGI? This didn't look like silicone. It looked like she took care of her skin type of youth.
You could see the pores.
Yep.
She had this little bump on her nose.
Yes.
But yeah, so the CGI in the film was really good, surprisingly. And I really loved all the action scenes. I think that's where this movie really embraces what it is. And it's just a fun roller coaster movie, was the action scenes.
Oh, yes. They pulled off the action scenes so well. And for me, I watch action scenes more like when they punch, what happens afterwards. Because a lot of them show the punch and then you kind of see the punch again. But this one, it didn't do that. So I think the editor did a really good job with the fighting scenes. But yeah, like just the way they made everything in the fighting sequences flow was so amazing to me.
I think one thing that really helped was the cinematographer and the director did very long takes when it was a fight scene. And you just see everything through completion instead of splicing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And the choreography of all the fight scenes were so dope.
Yeah.
It was like seeing a kung fu movie just born.
Or to me, it looked like MMA meets some form of like ancient martial arts. And it also mixes with gymnastics, because she was so flexible. The way her body moved was fast, effective, and to kill. Very few times did you just see her do one move and then the next move not be like lethal. You know.
And I like how she wasn't too fast either. Like it was always realistic. Just a tinge faster than believability, but never like Flash level or anything like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think what did you think about all the like emotions and stuff?
The emotions?
Because it was a very dramatic film. Do you feel like it?
Oh yeah, it definitely played with my emotions. I cried. I'm just gonna admit it. I cried. Dylan watched the movie with us. He's my little brother, and Jack, he's also my brother. You know, Dragon Fruit, he's been in this show before. But you know, Dragon Fruit has a stone cold heart. I'm just kidding. But he didn't cry. You didn't cry either. But me and Dylan cried. When Dylan got out the theater, you could tell he had been crying because his cheeks were all rosy and stuff. Aww. I was like, "Aw, bro, you felt it too. You felt the love." I like all of the dynamics worked really well with me. The main relationship dynamics were what made this movie better, in my opinion. Better than what it looked like, better than any technical stuff. It's all about the story of all the emotions that she's having and how they pulled it off.
I would say the same thing, because that was also another surprising thing, because I like a lot of like technical stuff. So like it was so interesting, because I say this in the spoilers and get a little more in depth, but so much of the stuff that happens is so generic. I knew a scene like this would happen, but still just having that connection with everyone, the filmmakers and all the creators and the performers did such a good job making you like them and then care about them. So even if there is a cheesy death scene or any cheesy situations with them, it feels real and you care about the characters at that point. And it sells all the drama. Even some dialogue, for me, was a little cheesy, but I was so game for it because it was just an enjoyable film. Like, there's some bad guys who were like, obviously say one-liners like, "I'm gonna crush you like a tick." Oh, yeah. And if the film just wasn't accepting that it was that mood, I would have been turned off by it. But from the get-go, this movie is like,
this is it.
This is for the inner kid who wants to watch things blow up and beat the crap out of people. Yes. But at the same time, it has such a good story with a heart, and it being centered through Alita, the main character. She's such an honest and heartful person that you can't help but root for her. Yeah. And she's gullible. Well,
she's not smart.
She's smart, and it's not even gullible. She's just so honestly forgiving. She cares so much that she would like give her heart to you. Yep. And most people in this world see that as dumb, but in the end, she's the most pure thing in this whole world. Yep. And it's so awesome. It's like if Paddington was a kung fu master and had to clap some fools, it would be this movie, Yeah. There was some things I didn't like that I can just rattle off real quick. I didn't really like a lot of the cinematography when it was just normal scenes or shots. Basically all the conversational scenes, a lot of the emotional scenes, I didn't really like how they were shot or set up. Not that they looked bad or anything, it just felt really simple. But then the cinematography and editing and the action sequences were so amazing, so it made up for it. The music was pretty good. I didn't really notice it, so I don't really have anything to say about that. I really like the character designs and all the costuming and stuff. I really liked Alita's outfits. I didn't get to say it in the spoilers, but there's this one part where she puts on a purple shirt, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Just using a color to redefine the character after a moment of growth or whatever. I was like, that's so cool, and it was such a cool like turtleneck. Man,
yeah,
she did so
have
cool.
she even had a full leather onesie looking thing. Yeah. And it was all very well fitted.
Yeah, she looks so good and all. I liked how it was futuristic and desolated, but it wasn't super over the top costumes. Like it still looked.
Oh, you know what Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was so happy they didn't make her boobs really big, or her butt really big, or even her, like, she was shapeful. She looked like she had an hourglass figure, but it wasn't like anything like nowadays, you know, like big butts are in. And I'm so happy they didn't make her too sexual by enhancing those, even her lips. They didn't enhance her lips. They didn't chisel her face. They didn't, she only wore makeup one time, and it was eyeliner.
Oh, yeah.
And her hairstyle was very simple. Yep. You know, it wasn't like buzz cut or like something fancy,
stylish,
and I really like that part because it's not about any of those things. It's more about her eyes,
her soul. Yeah, that's such a cool thing too. And for anyone else having reservations about her eyes, they do explain a little bit why she has different eyes than everyone in the film and stuff like that. So
spoiler, she's very awesome.
Yep. I like all the other, well, another thing I didn't, well, it's so weird, like, things I technically didn't like, the film still pulled it off well. Like, the other performances, like, there's a main actor that is, like, a big thing in the film for her, and I didn't really like his performance. Like, it was just very cheesy, and he looked like your typical dude or whatever, but the film still pulls it off very well. I liked
his performance.
Really?
Yes. It looked like if he would have had an actual person beside him, he would have done a little better. But for what he was given, probably like nothing there. He's literally just talking to himself. He did really good.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that kind of bothered me a little bit was that his eyes were mostly on her mouth. You know, like they kind of should have told him, like, hey, you should look up a little bit higher than that.
Stop looking like you want to kiss her and stuff.
Ooh, like you want to approach her?
Lips smacking. Yeah.
I did like his performance.
It just seemed like that type of character. Like the dude, he just looked like that dude.
Exactly.
Which is cool. I mean, I'm just saying I've seen it before, but like I said before, somehow this film still connects all these dots that I typically would dislike, and it turns it into a like. And it's so interesting. What else did I have to say?
I have one thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want you to finish first, though.
No, I'm good. I think I actually covered everything.
All right. Okay. I was mad at the end of the movie because of how they built the whole movie up. And I was expecting something way different than what they gave me. Yeah. And I stood up immediately as soon as I saw it directed by blank. I stood up and walked out of the theater super fast. And as soon as I got into the light, and I was so angry. When I hit the light, I was thinking, why am I so angry? And then I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go. And then I went to the bathroom, washed my hands, didn't even use the bathroom, just washed my hands twice, came out, and waited for you guys to come out. And and then Jack was like, I didn't like the ending. I was like, yes! Now I can tell him, because I felt like it was uncalled for me to just get up like that. But when someone else mentioned it, like, I didn't, more along the lines, like, I didn't expect that or like that ending. I was like, okay. now here's my turn to explain myself.
Yeah, I think everyone in the theater felt like that. I mean, I felt like that too. I was like, oh, fuck. Just because I know
they might not do a part 2.
Yeah, I know the dynamics of Hollywood, and I know the box office return on this, and it just seems very, well, I'm like 100% sure it's not going to happen, but it was very disappointing. But one thing that was interesting is you walked out. As soon as the cut to black, you walked out. Like, you already knew. And you stormed out. You look so pissed.
Yeah.
And there was this guy, theater seats in front of us, like to the right, like 4 or 5 seats in front of us to the right. He turned around, looked at me, Jack, and Dylan, was like, oh, she didn't like that ending. And then we were just like, yeah. And then he's like, I was not expecting that. And then we were all like, yeah. And he's like, fuck. And then he just walked out too.
Exactly.
And then everyone else left really quickly. And then I was just sitting there like, damn, there must be a post-credit scene. So I was looking it up.
Yeah.
And then Jack and Dylan pulled up and they were like, is Chet pissed? What's wrong with Chet? What happened, bro? Was she crying?
Because it was such a beautiful movie for it to end like that. Oh my gosh. I have never, also, I'm glad you said that, because I've never heard of people talking to each other seats across and just look up to a stranger and be like, whoa. You know? That's another thing. Like, it was very bad ending.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the same time, I feel like they didn't have an option. You would have to play the whole movie another hour?
Well,
or cut?
No, cut it to where it's one thing. One, instead of splitting it into, I don't know,
a 4-hour
2, 3, 4, I don't know, sequel. I don't know what the next word is to sequel, but...
But you can't have a film longer than 3 hours.
Yes, but I was saying maybe shorten this.
And
so the story now would take 2 movies, right? You could shorten it to make it only take 1 movie.
Well, that's where you get into, like, what I feel the Lego movie. Yeah. Like, remember the Lego movie too is just cutting from situation to situation. But this one, you really had time to be with Alita. Like, she was in almost every single shot.
Yeah.
And that's something that's also unheard of with such a big world building movie. You're always going from character to character. But you only saw characters through her and with her. As she learned someone, you learned someone. And I think that's what really cemented the film as a very powerful story for her, is because we were with her. It wasn't about this big world, it was just about her. And I feel like if you tried to squeeze, because you gotta imagine what would happen in the next one or whatever, and there'd be so much big shit going on, you know, because they left so much.
Oh, I really hope they make a part 2. If the person who's in the theater with us that day is listening to us, email us at Cineverm at yahoo.com. Make sure you tell us exactly how you felt. If you agree with me, if you don't, whatever. I just have to say one last thing, that Alita in Spanish means little chicken wing.
Not little, it means wing.
No, it means little chicken wing.
Little wing.
Yeah, little wing. Like, ala means wing. So Alita means little wing.
Yes, it could be an angel wing.
No. When you say Alita, it's usually a chicken wing that you're eating at, like, Buffalo's.
Mexicans across the world, email us at cineverm@yahoo.com. Prove her wrong.
Anyways. But for real, watch this movie. I would recommend this movie to anyone who's ready to have a good time. Strip off the chains of slow movies, slow paced, very critical stuff. Just watch this movie and enjoy it, because I know 100%, except for the ending, you will love this movie.
But if more people watch it, maybe the ending will be good. You know?
I know. Damn it.
I just wish... It's kind of crazy because this is like a more... it's based on a comic book, but it's more original than, say, your multi-sequel films or whatever that are coming, like Fast and Furious 12.
Reals.
And this one actually had a story to tell.
Yes.
And it's like, well, the movie industry's dying. Well, it's because people aren't watching.
They're making disgusting movies.
People go watch the shitty movies and then ask why are all the movies shitty? Like,
and why are the ticket prices going down?
Also, I feel like critics bash this movie so hard because it's like sitting at a 60%, and that makes no damn sense.
They weren't ready for this movie. Honestly, if I didn't, how we were saying, if I didn't make my own little mini music video, film, whatever you want to call it, I wouldn't have appreciated this as much as I did. Honestly, hand on my heart, I think I wouldn't have liked it as much. And it kind of like goes to show, like, there's some people who just criticize to criticize, and they're just learning how to criticize better, but they never learn how to do it better. And that's where I was in the mindset today, was how do I do this better? And then I tried my best, and for some reason my shit came out decent.
Bomb.
And then I see this movie that's obviously way longer than mine, and it feels so good. Yeah. Like I just took a shower and put some deodorant on. Like that's how good this movie felt.
Yes. Oh, that's something I go into the spoilers a little bit, but I want to say it again. It was watching the action scenes of this film. All right, so I started watching the film. I'm like, oh, 5 out of 10. And then first fight scene, 6 out of 10. Second fight scene, 7 out of 10. Third fight scene, 8 out of 10. The last couple fight scenes, I'm like, fuck, this movie is a 9 out of 10. Yep. Even me not appreciating some technical stuff, there's so much high potent action in this film that it works so well. And I normally hate CGI action. Like I watch Transformer films, and most times I've seen Transformer films or other big CGI fight scenes, and I don't care. Yeah. But this movie, just the momentum that everything is shot at, like we already talked about.
The choreography.
Yes, and I felt so giddy. I felt like a kid. I was talking about how it reminded me when I was little, I would watch Dragon Ball Z and just be jumping in the sofa. Oh, yes. You know, with my hands clenched, pretending I'm fighting with Goku.
Your heartbeat would automatically go to, like, probably skip a couple beats and be really fast.
I was actually sweating in this movie a couple scenes where I was just like, go Alita! And just like, kick his ass! And it's so fucking cool seeing an action movie with the girl, and it's not, look at me, I'm a girl or whatever. Or it's just, no.
Look at me, I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's so fucking awesome. Yeah. And if you like any action scenes, if you like any kung fu movies, or if you just like a good fight scene, this movie is so worth watching just for those moments.
And the thing is, I don't know, I'm not really familiar with the difference between kung fu and karate and like jiu-jitsu and like
different
all those art forms. But get this, guys, it's all man to man. There's a lot of cyborgs and stuff, but it's usually fist to fist, which is what's so beautiful about it. It makes everything more brutal. It makes it makes a knife feel way more powerful than how a knife would feel if someone started with a gun and they moved to a knife. Yeah. It was like, no, fist to fist, and then for some reason someone pulls out a knife, it's like, oh, level up. Yeah. You know, like that's dangerous now. So let's watch this because it is going to do some damage.
One of my dream things to do is to direct the Dragon Ball Z movie one day. And this is the first time I've watched the movie by a director where I was like, you should make a Dragon Ball Z movie. Like, this is how I remember Dragon Ball Z. The drama is turned up to 11. Everyone's crying, you know, like emotions at peak level. And then out of nowhere, people are getting their heads chopped off and power blasted to dust. This movie, like, Robert Rodriguez should direct more films in this style. Just full-blown action, but also with heart. I think this is...
Did he write this movie?
Well, I know it's based on a comic, so I don't know if he adapted the screenplay.
So it just, his eye fit the story.
Yes. Well, specifically the action sequences. I think if he just turned it up a little bit on the scenes where it's not fighting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I would give the film a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And some people I would recommend it to, which just off the top, if you like any action movies, if you like blockbuster movies, you'll like this film. If you like sci-fi, you'll like this film. If you like robots, comics, or manga, you'll like this film. If you like Dragon Ball Z, you'll like this film. One thing was, shit.
If you like, maybe if you like skating, you'll like this movie.
Oh yeah, rollerblading.
If you like, just people being very crafty, I think you'll like this movie.
Yeah. Ooh, one movie reminded me is like last year we watched Upgrade, and I was like, oh, this movie might not be that good, but the fight scenes were so dope in it.
Yeah.
And this movie kind of feels like this year's Upgrade, like a movie no one watched, no one cared about, and this movie was set up to fail basically, and it still was like, fuck it, we're just gonna have a blast. Like this film looked like they had fun making it as well. I could feel like a positive energy of just, this is what we want to do. Like, let's turn off all the logical, like, does this make sense or whatever. Like, let's just have a good time.
Yeah.
I feel like if you like watching movies with a bag of popcorn and some soda, and if you stretch your legs out while you watch movies, you'll like this movie.
I think if you like origin stories, you'll like this one.
Ooh, yes. What would you give it out of 10? I
would give it a solid 9 out of 10. Beautiful movie. Hit me right in the heart. Like I said, I cried. Also, I would also add that Dylan Buller Cooler is his channel. Check him out on YouTube. He's only made 2 videos so far, but he has promised the viewers 1 more video soon. Yeah. So, go check him out. He reviews Pokemon cards and just a lot of cool kid stuff. But yeah, we watched it with Dylan and he joined us in the spoilers. Watch the spoilers.
Yeah. After you watch the movie.
Yeah. He might be a little quiet though, so I don't know how we're gonna do with the editing and stuff. Yeah. But
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, go watch his movies. For me, it was 9 out of 10. If you've been listening, I rate it by influence, and this movie really influenced me. Yes. Right now. It changed a lot about who I am and how I see things as a person.
This is one of those movies that I can't wait to rewatch. Just to have a good time. We could be, you don't have to pay attention all the time to the movie because you already know the beats. But once the action starts, it's one of those movies where you're walking by in the living room and like, oh, someone's watching a movie you love. And then there's certain parts of the movie where you just stop what you're doing and you focus. Yeah. All the action scenes in this movie would be like, I'm walking by, I'm like, oh, fucking action scene's about to start. Let me put my clothes up. I'm going to put my clothes in the dryer or whatever because they're washing, and then I'm just going to watch.
Oh, yes.
And this, what's really dope is I know Lolo's going to buy this movie because it looks like an action movie. Yeah. Can't wait.
I don't think he'll like the movie, though.
Oh, I think he'll like the action.
Oh, he'll like it because of the action. Yeah. Does he watch movies in Spanish? Yeah. Like dubbed or?
Yeah, dubbed. Okay. This will for sure be in Spanish. It's Robert Rodriguez, literally Mexican.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yep. You don't know nowadays. More power to my bro. Yeah. Familia Hispana.
And it's really cool because there's a couple movies he made that I really like Desperado and a lot of his earlier movies. But it's so cool seeing this. I'm like, oh, I want to see what he does next now. And hopefully he makes a part 2, but hopefully he keeps making action films like this. Yeah. Well, do you have anything else?
No.
All right, so watch Alita. It's an awesome film. Thank you for listening to our Cineverm. It was a long weekend. Oh yeah, the music video competition that Chelsy was a part of. It was 48 hours non-stop. So we had 48 hours to make it, and
or even less than that because our venue was not available. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so hopefully in about 2 or 3 weeks we'll post it on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll remind y'all of that, and we're planning on doing like a special Cineverm where we talk about the process of of her directing her first film and
Mm-hmm.
our experiences
Or
on set.
just move. What do you call it? Would you call it a film, even though it's just like 4 minutes and it's more music video?
Well, I don't know. It's I don't know what defines a music video from a short film.
All right, so just directing in general.
Yes.
I told people kind of what to do. Oh, it's so stressful.
I can't wait to hear you let it all out on Cineverm and
Right.
stuff.
Bye.
Yep.